So everyone, it is official. Elon Musk now literally owns the libs. In a
Literally.
$44 billion blockbuster deal, he is now taking Twitter private. That is official. We speculated that this might happen in a live stream last night. That segment of that live stream is now obsolete. The deal is now done. And predictably, we have seen some reactions on Twitter. So let's just take to Twitter now to see, as it is currently, I guess, in transition now between owners. Howard Dean. Hi, Twitterverse. Many thanks for the knowledge and sharing over the past 10 years or so. If Musk takes over Twitter, I will be off within a few hours. Might be just as well for my well-being, but I've learned a lot of valuable stuff from many of you. Thank you all, Howard.
Yeah!
Yeah, he should have gone out with his scream. That would have been, I would have respected the tweet a lot more. Come down the thread here. Somebody quoted Don Winslow. Another one. Even if Musk takes over, I urge people, especially resistors, to remain on Twitter for a very simple reason. Facebook is an aggressive propaganda machine for the far right and the beliefs and ethics of Donald Trump. We cannot concede Facebook and Twitter in this war.
Well, they shouldn't have taken down Parler then.
Right. Well, I mean, it's
they would have had some place to go now.
I mean, look, that's revealing of how they think. They think of this as a war. Here's a great one. Judith Green indict Trump. 11,000 exclamation points. This is fantastic. Howard, start up a people's Twitter. We will support you and listen to you.
Insurance company lobbyist and man of the people, Howard Dean.
Yeah, insurance company lobbyist Howard Dean is going to set up a people's Twitter.
Yeah,
isn't the whole point of Elon Musk buying it to sort of make it function more like a people's Twitter? Like, isn't like on a people's Twitter, wouldn't people be free to come and say what they think?
Come on, if you don't agree with all shitlib orthodoxy, you're not a person.
Oh, so it's
she means the real people.
The real people's
Twitter. The actual people.
The actual people's Twitter. Okay. Now I understand. I like this response too here. I'm pretty much thinking of leaving too. I am not interested in being on a platform like Facebook. Sad. I've enjoyed my time on Twitter. Some guy with money falling out of his pockets comes by and ruins the whole thing. I love that. This is similar to what Nathan Robinson tweeted.
It was no. Actually, if you've ever seen the footage of the people who run Twitter,
yeah, it was an organic grocery co-op.
Yeah, they live on a communal ranch, barefoot. Where they rotate the chores. Who's going to cook? Who's going to do the dishes?
That's actually in line with Nathan Robinson, who runs the, left-wing current affairs magazine, who I respect in a number of ways, but he said a similar thing to this fucking kook that we just read. Remember that once Elon Musk owns Twitter, every tweet you send is performing free labor for him and using your personal free time to increase his wealth. When you write a popular tweet, you're a writer offering revenue-driving content to the world's richest man. I actually tweeted a popular response to this, up to 229 likes right now. I said, yeah, unlike the organic grocery co-op that owns it now.
You go, man.
I mean, who the fuck do these people think run these companies now? That's the whole point. And, look, we said about a week ago when these rumors started stirring that it's unfortunate that, yes, that we are reliant on the goodwill of a lithium-plundering oligarch to uphold First Amendment ideals on the internet. Yes, that's unfortunate.
Sir, may I have some more free speech, sir?
Right, exactly. Who wants to be in that position? No one. And so, yeah, would I rather these social media companies just be regulated as public utilities? Sure.
Exactly.
But that's not the world we live in. And in the world we live in, this is really the best you could do. If one of these blood-sucking freaks has to own a social media company, yeah, I guess better Elon Musk than Bill Gates. You know what I mean? That's just kind of the way it is. It sucks that that's the way it is, but this is kind of the best you can hope for right now, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, yes. Who else is going to do it?
Right. Who else is going to do it?
He's
Exactly.
he's the only one of these billionaires that would give enough of a fuck about an issue like this to do this.
Here's another Nathan Robinson tweet here. The only comforting reason to think Donald Trump might not win in 2024 is that his prior success was so dependent on his Twitter account. If Musk takes over, it's very likely that Trump will be back and therefore unstoppable. I think I had a response to this one as well. I didn't mean to pick on Nathan Robinson today, but he was just providing so much material. I said the pro-democracy left is terrified that if their opponent is allowed to communicate his ideas, he might convince enough people to support him. I mean, this is just an irony that escapes these people that is just, it's unbelievable.
The horror.
It just shows how unconfident they are in their ability to actually win a national debate.
Well, they know they can't win. They know they can't win a national debate, not on terms that their donors will accept. They could win a national debate on left terms, but they're not willing to argue on those terms. They want to argue on Kenty cloth terms. And no, you can't beat them on those terms. You can't.
Yeah, and look, to be fair, like if Nathan Robinson could pick the Democratic nominee, I think the nominee he would pick would have a better shot at beating Trump nationally than who the Democrats are going to pick. But unfortunately, Nathan Robinson is one of these people who at the end of the day will always line up behind the Democratic nominee. And so he is in that camp. He's in that camp, whether he likes that or not. That's how he functions. And he knows that that's how he functions. And he knows that he's on a losing team. And so what can you do if you're on the losing team besides try and grease the refs? And that's what they're trying to do here. They're trying to grease the refs with these social media companies. And Elon Musk is a ref they feel they might not be able to grease. And that's why they're panicking so much.
Right. It's amazing that a left whose core mythology was so built around the idea that the people who tried to suppress us made us cool, that suppressed rock and roll and our fashion sense, and the people who repressed it just made it stronger, right? It's amazing they don't understand that about themselves. They're making conservatism cool by being the scolds, by being the hall monitors. If you look at the discourse among young people, Gen Z, it's very much evocative of that 60s merry pranksters, Abby Hoffman kind of irreverence, but towards the left and towards the values of the left, because those are the easy targets instead of what used to be the target of that, the Jerry Falwells, the self-serious fire and brimstone preachers that the left would laugh at. Now the left are the fire and brimstone preachers preaching the evangel of woke. And they're a very easy target. It's very easy to make fun of. And just like those preachers had no sense of humor about themselves, they have no sense of humor about themselves. You can't make jokes about their beliefs. You can't make jokes about how they present themselves. They have become what they once despised. The left has become the new evangelicals. And it's a losing proposition in a country of pluralistic iconoclasts. It's not, you don't want to be the school marm in a country full of people who value their independence of thought and speech.
Yeah, there's one more exchange that I just want to show everybody because I got into one of my first real extended Twitter battles, which I don't usually do. So this is Emma Vigeland. She's a co-host of the
she's another one.
Yeah. Twitter needs to be a free marketplace of ideas like a public town square, which is why I want to use my billions of dollars to take it ... private. So she's making a sort of sarcastic tweet there. And, this is the thing that's really sort of disingenuous about this. It's like, yes, I agree that it's a problem that the public square is being privatized. That's why I said it's a shame that we are relying on a guy like Elon Musk to uphold constitutional standards online. But the thing is, you can't make this point that Emma just made here unless you actually believe in the concept of the public square, which she doesn't, because she is on the page that Twitter needs to crack down on, quote unquote hate speech, misinformation, blah, blah, blah. And so I just responded, you either believe in the public square as a concept or you don't. If you support censorship on large tech platforms, you don't. And no amount of double talk is going to fool people into believing that you do. So, like, none of this, sarcasm and irony. It's like, you are not for the public square. If you believe that these tech platforms should be empowered to subvert constitutional ideals, even as they grow and grow and grow in power and size and scope and reach, then you don't believe in a public square and you don't believe in free speech. And I was actually quite impressed. Of all the people who responded to me on this thread, this is the person who I actually respect by far the most. Here. People should just be honest about not wanting totally free speech. It'd spare us so much arguing. I have no trouble admitting this, and it saves me from getting into pointless debates. Thank you. Just say it. Just say it. I mean, I think that person's 1,000% wrong. But just say what everybody knows, which is that you don't believe in free speech. Everybody knows that. None of this song and dance and joking around, everybody sees through that. Everybody sees through that. It's the most transparent thing. And so just say what that person had the balls to say, which is, no, I don't believe in totally free speech.
Right.
Then at least we can have an argument. We can't have an argument as long as one side is just playing hide the ball with what their actual position is, which is what all of the liberals are doing, and now I'm sorry to say a good 50% of self-described leftists are doing as well.
Well, usually they'll fall back on if you really push them, they will all of a sudden they become libertarians for a day. These are private companies, it's freedom of speech doesn't apply here. They'll retreat to that if you push them hard enough.
Right. What could be less of a left position than that? There is no less of a, like, you cannot even call yourself nominally on the left if you believe that corporations ought to be able to grow in size, scope, and influence and then subvert constitutional norms once they have as much power or more than the government itself to regulate speech. That's the point, is that once these companies grow so large, they have more power than the government over the realm of speech and, exchange of ideas. And so if they start then applying standards of their own that are not in compliance with constitutional norms, that threatens of the aforementioned constitutional norms. And if you don't believe that's a problem, then you have no even nominal claim to being on the left. Like, you can call yourself on the left and think that, like, Zelensky is a hero. Okay, I don't agree with you, but I'm not going to excommunicate you from the left for thinking that. We can hash that out. If you go down this road where no, Facebook is a private company, no matter how big they are, no matter how powerful they are, they're a private company, which means technically they could do whatever the hell they want, which includes subverting First Amendment norms, then you're not on the left. You're not on the left at all. You have no claim to it whatsoever.
They will almost always retreat to that. If you push them on this, they almost always I just had my first debate on this subject in a long time because I almost never debate on Facebook. But somebody called me out on the fact that we drop these videos and then refuse to engage with the members of these groups. So I was like, all right, fair enough.
All right, fine. Fuck your mother.
So
How's that? We engaged. Now that Elon Musk owns Twitter, I'm allowed to say that. How's that?
You see? No, actually, he watched our live stream last night and was very complimentary about it. So, nice. He was one of the good ones. But he did retreat to the private companies argument. Although he actually challenged me. He said, well, I don't see you saying that they should be, basically he was saying public utilities. And I said, no, we say that all the time. Of course they should be public utilities. Of course that's what we believe. Of course.
Right. Of course we believe they should be public utilities, but we're saying in absence of that, the next best thing we can hope for is that the billionaire who's going to treat it most like a public utility control it. Which is what's happening now with Elon Musk. And he said, look, we're going to act in accordance with the laws in place in whatever country that, the users are operating in. And so in Europe, there are going to be certain complications. They're already reporting that.
The only Nazis allowed on the platform in Europe will be Ukrainian Nazis.
Ukrainian, right, exactly.
If you're a Nazi outside of Ukraine, not cool. Inside Ukraine, heroic fighters.
I mean, look, the big elephant in the room here is Trump. And the big question that's on everybody's mind is Elon going to let Trump back on the platform? And the ironic thing about this is that
yes, he is. I promise you he will.
Well,
in fact, not only do I guarantee he will, it's going to be one of his first acts as owner of Twitter.
All right. Well, you're on the record.
That is my prediction.
It
will be one of the first things he does to set a tone is going to be to let Trump back on Twitter.
Well, we'll see. I mean, that would be a major boon to this show if Trump were back on Twitter. We'd have stuff to talk about every day. So I hope he does it.
I think it's a big part of probably what prompted him to do this. The fact.
What do you think Trump's first tweet will be if and when he is allowed back on?
Elon is a beautiful person. He's better than all the other billionaires. He's got a beautiful mind. He's taken us places like Mars. Elon is the best. Vote for Elon. No, wait, vote for me.
Thank you to Elon for readmitting me to Twitter. Now, where was I? Oh, yeah. Mika Brzezinski's facelift was bleeding all over the place at my beautiful new tile floors at Mar-a-Lago when she was asking for a picture with me.
Well, this is, I think, what liberals don't understand. Even if you don't like Donald Trump, nobody likes a censor. And there are more people out there who don't even necessarily like Donald Trump who are going to cheer for Elon Musk's takeover of Twitter than they realize, because they only talk to each other. They only talk to other people who, of course, it's the default. Oh, this is terrible. Elon Musk is going to open up conversation on Twitter. It's that they only talk to people who think like that, but most people don't think like that. I think most people think this is great news.
Please clap.